Hey, what's up, Moon Boys? Welcome to another exciting episode hosted by yours truly, Walk and Vital. We're here to discuss the current crypto and NFT market conditions and what we are seeing today. So stay tuned to learn more. Cue that intro. Yo, what it do? Welcome to another exciting adventure here with Moon Boys Radio, where we're going to give you that alpha you didn't know you needed about possible 10x, scratch that, 100x, scratch that, Moon X opportunities.
Keep in mind, the NFT space is very speculative and highly risky. Anything we talk about here is not financial advice. We're not financial advisors, so make sure to do your own research. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in today. So right over here we have Solana pulled up. Right now it's hovering a little above $30. It looks like we are going down towards the bearish with the whole macro sentiment of the market and the world economy. And as you can look at these technical analysis that Wok loves when I talk about, you can see we're breaking a support right now, and the next support would be around like the 28 range, but we can go all the way towards 27. But definitely pay attention to like Bitcoin to see what it does, because it did break under 20k, and Ethereum also broke under 1300 as well. So we're gonna hop over and talk about Magic Eden because of the big news over there regarding their zero royalties. So over there at the current moment, you can choose to either pay the full royalty, half of the royalty, or no royalty at all to the project. And this has caused a lot of stir in the Solana ecosystem because majority of the projects over there do not have a revenue stream. They basically mint out the project, make a bunch of money, and then kind of don't really have a plan yet from my understanding. So a lot of projects are kind of in a panic because they've relied on basically the royalties to pay to keep the project afloat. What's your current thoughts on this, Walk?
Yeah, I think this is kind of a bold move by Magic Eden. I think, with the space being fairly new and a lot of projects kind of just like relying on this being like their, in a way, like stable income to keep the project like moving and growing. Do I think projects should have another source of income and to keep the project afloat? Yes, but I think Magic Eden should stay more consistent because the way they kind of voice how they're going to give project these royalty benefits and then also kind of take it away. I just think it's kind of maybe not necessarily shady, but more like, yeah, just inconsistent, and it's not necessarily fair to some of the projects that went in with the assumptions that they will be receiving these. So it's definitely a bold move, and it makes like the market a little shaky right now. Especially as you were like hovering, you can see like we're kind of trending downward, and the U.S. like the midterm elections, they're about to end in about 3 weeks, and I think that will also negatively affect the market just because I feel like they've been kind of hovering a lot more than what, or kind of just hiding a lot of the negatives that's actually in the marketplace and try to make the politics look better than they are, or their agenda. So I think it's kind of interesting timing. So I'm kind of curious to see kind of where we go from here. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a pretty interesting move. Like that chart that I just had pulled up, it kind of shows like where creator fees were when it first was in June 2022, and then how it kept decreasing towards like October. And we also saw this over on Ethereum too, where a lot of projects, when they were minting launch, they expected really high royalties, and then they slowly decreased it. But then all of a sudden they hit like, the high mint price era. And then now they're in the free mint price era where projects are mainly relying on royalties. So pretty big move on Magic Eden, especially because there's a lot of NFT projects, like I mentioned on Solana, that doesn't have any type of revenue stream. But in some senses, I feel like this is good because it kind of helps make projects more realistic about what they're trying to build, and actually put out a realistic plan. Because I feel like as an NFT project, like you got to be honest with your community of how you plan on growing this brand. And we've talked about this on like several streams where I said like, I feel like for Web3 to be successful, we need Web2 because we need to be able to onboard the masses and create demand, you know. And in order, like when you look at like something kind of like Pokemon, they have like their game, they have clothing, they have backpacks, you know what I mean? So like all if anyone was able to invest in the Pokemon from the beginning, like they're making a lot of money because they're being sold, their merch is being sold, their cards are being sold. You kind of get what I'm saying, Walk?
No, 100%. I think that's why it's smarter to have a better foundation to help, have multiple streams to help keep your project afloat. Um, I do think this is in the long term a good thing. It's just kind of in the short term. It's a lot of the projects that aren't don't have a strong foundation are probably gonna slowly dwindle down to zero and disappear. So that's why there's a lot of fear in the market. And just like Vitals, one of his hero Warren Buffett says, when there's fear in the market, there's a lot of good sales out there, and that's when it's a good time to buy. Not saying personally, you guys should buy. Obviously do your own research. We're not financial advisors, but you can see a lot of even potential blue chip stocks. With famous Fox Federations trading around 28. You can see Blacksmith Lab, which is right there. That's a project where it's usually above 100 floor price and sitting at below 79. So this community of mad scientists is looking like a juicy deal. Cats on Crack, which is also another potential blue chip stock, which we've covered multiple times in our Discord. And I think the last time we called it out around like 29, and then we said watch out because it's dipping, and you have a good chance to get a good entry. And then it bounced all the way up to 50. That was like back in like August time. So there's this is like maybe unfortunate timing, but it also brings potential good buys. Like here's another example is Vandal that you brought up. It was like they had a lot to be excited for, and it just I think they're getting affected by this news. And if the strong projects will prevail, and they're at a good buy-in zone potentially.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the thing with the whole zero royalties thing, I feel like it's gonna weed out a lot of like the people that are in the space with no good reason. You know what I mean? Like their intention is just to basically, mint out a project, take the money and run. Cause like realistically, when you're minting out a full project, I feel like the amount of money that you get from it is decent enough for you to start some type of like revenue stream, if that makes sense. Just because like I started a business before and I got nowhere near like how much someone makes off like a mint, and we're like quite sustainable. So like you said, I think like this is bad in the short term right now, but it's really going to be cool to see how it plays out. And like one project I wanted to show up was like Jelly Rascals, for example. There's only 29 listed, even like even during this whole thing. Like I feel like this project has such strong credibility already. They have big things in the pipeline. So when toxic news like this comes out, like the people in here aren't shaken one bit. And Vandals, you mentioned them. I know that a lot of people are hyped up about this project too. Like this, you could always almost say is like a buy zone. And D Gods, it came down a little bit, but I feel like they've like really solidified their name in the space where an entry here is quite like interesting. But I do your financial research, like the smaller tier Solana NFT projects that, like for example, that I own, Primates, took a pretty big drop from where it was. I think Trippin' Apes was one that kind of dropped a significant amount too. And a lot of like the cheaper NFTs around like from 1 to 2 Solana price points, they all kind of dumped out too, just because like I feel like a lot of people were just cutting it because they're such little loss from where they bought it in at. So I felt like those took a lot of big hits. It's pretty crazy right now to see like projects still minting at this time. So I wonder how this is all gonna pan out. What are you looking at? Any current projects that are minting walk?
I'm not necessarily looking at the current ones minted out. I mean, in the Discord, we kind of talked about the hypo or hippo, however you want to pronounce it, and how we thought it's potentially not going to do that great, and it doesn't look like it's doing the greatest right now. I did want to talk about one of the previous projects we covered. It's called Dark Skellies. That project, I think it's holding relatively strong consider everything that's going on. But they do have multiple revenue streams. As like we talked about, they have the multiple. They create the custom raffle sites and the staking sites for upcoming projects. So they have like a source of revenue is other than just royalties. So I think that's pretty cool out there. So it's one of those like lower price projects. It's also under 10% listed, so that's great. I did notice the listings are coming up slightly, but that could just be due to like the news of the no royalties thing. So it's one of the projects to keep in mind. You can also jump in our Discord to see how we're gonna play the play. Anything else you want to cover, Vital?
No, definitely stay tuned with what happens with the Magic Eden royalties because there's a lot of projects that are down right now, but with any kind of pivot from Magic Eden and sentiment in the space, I feel like a lot of liquidity on the sideline currently can fly right back in as fast as it came out. So, yeah, definitely jump in our Discord and make sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment of what you think about this situation and what project you'd like us to review next. Have a good one, guys.